All right, just me today. We don't really have a real intro for this show. No Caleb this week, no Tanner this week. Doing a little time travel because I just did a quick 30 for you guys. Only got to tough it out for like 30. But I think I forgot to tell you guys that we don't really have a real intro for the show. So I just wanted to come back and make that clear, and then forewarn you guys that it's only going to be about toughing it out for about 30 minutes, which is me. So stick around. I would appreciate it. Here it is. Yap, yap, yelling at pigeons. Yap, yap, nobody listens. Yap, yap, screaming my vision. Yap, yap, yelling at pigeons. All right. Hopefully you guys can't hear my air conditioner, or this whole episode will be a waste. Which it kind of will be anyway, because it's just going to be me today. If you listened to Yelling at Pigeons yesterday, we mentioned that there was technical difficulties with our interview with Tim. We scripted together some of that and put out an episode, added some that we record after. But late as it was, we didn't record sports again, which we did do a whole episode of sports, of Yelling at Sports with Tim. And that episode was mostly not useful due to the technical difficulties. There was a little bit we could have pieced together, I guess. But with that, Caleb's like, all right, we'll record tomorrow. And forgot that he had to work late, which is totally understandable. But that leaves us here, where it's now just me. Some people are saying Caleb's dodging talking about the George Pickens trade. To that, I would say I didn't say that, and maybe Caleb would like to talk about it and talk through his feelings. I will give you a statement from Caleb on the trade. This is unapproved statement. This is just what he said in the group chat. I didn't ask him for a statement for the show. But his quote was, "I'm so sad, man. That hurts." So, yeah, I don't think he's super happy about it. Don't blame him. On the flip side, I was talking to Derek. We had Derek on a couple weeks ago before the draft. Derek Beasley, big Cowboys fan. He appears to be excited about it, which I don't blame him either, because you're getting a very good receiver. He described it as they don't have a wide receiver 2 now. They have a wide receiver 1B, which, to be fair, he is the clear B. Like, I would almost still say he is the wide receiver 2, just a really good 2, similar to how, like, T. Higgins is. I don't know that I would call T. Higgins a wide receiver 1B, because he's so clearly the 2, because Chase is so good. But Higgins is phenomenal and would be a 1 on at least half of the league's teams. So Pickens is kind of in that same boat. Great pickup for Dallas. I think Dallas has had a great offseason. Probably not perfect, just because as much as I like Javonte Williams, I'm a little worried at running back because he's been sort of underwhelming since he came out of UNC. I thought he was going to be phenomenal, and he's been good. He's been okay. I do like that pickup. I'm not sure that I love going into the season just counting on him being a stud. But overall, their offseason, I feel like Jerry's been way more, I guess the word you could use is aggressive. He's been making more moves. They've been like 4 or 5 trades. Even Kyer Elam, who was not good with the Bills. Maybe he'll be good there. He's a phenomenal athlete. He seems to be a hard worker. Didn't work out in Buffalo, but it might work there. Pickens, as I just said, I think is a great move. They traded for Kenneth Murray. A lot of additions that I like. Their draft, Derek mentioned this as well when I was texting him. I actually texted him and asked if he wanted to come on, if he's not busy. It's been like 15 minutes and he hasn't responded, so I think he is busy. All good. But when I was texting him about Pickens, he mentioned that he liked the Cowboys draft, but he didn't love it because they didn't address wide receiver 2 very well. But now that they have Pickens, and now that he knows that they were working on that, he loves their draft, which I think makes total sense. And I actually agree as well. So it'll be interesting to see that dynamic of Pickens and CeeDee on the field at the same time. It's going to be hard to stop them both. So that'll be exciting to watch. Additionally, the Jags released Gabriel Davis, which is not like a huge headline, but obviously I'm a Bills fan, so this made my ears perk up because like, wow, it's only been there a year. They're eating a lot of dead cap. All in all, Gabriel Davis was in Jacksonville for one season. He caught 20 passes and he made $24 million. Pretty good gig. So, because that's also sort of his like hometown team. I think he's from the Orlando area, so pretty close. And yeah, I mean he made 1.2 million per catch, so that's pretty cool. Former Jags center and Bills center Mitch Morse, who just retired this offseason, quote tweeted the report of Gabe being released and basically said like this guy is just the best in the locker room, super hardworking. Said that Gabriel Davis fought through an injury all of last season and didn't complain about it at all. So maybe he was ready to make that next step that Jacksonville thought, and the injuries held him back. Maybe they cut him too soon. But you get a new GM in James Gladstone. You bring in a new head coach. All those things. That wasn't their guy. They didn't bring him in, and he's making a lot of money. I'm a little surprised that they're eating that much dead cap just to get rid of him. But they do have guys that can lean on in Brian Thomas, and they just drafted Travis Hunter. Why not have Gabriel Davis as a 3? I mean, you're going to literally pay him like $20 million to not play for you. It just seems weird to me. They did designate it as a post-June 1st, so they'll save money. Well, I shouldn't say save, but they'll spread it out. So it won't affect them as much this season, but it'll be spread out. Weird move to me. I don't know. I'm not exactly shocked from a play standpoint because it was not a good first year for him in Jacksonville. But like I said, eating that much cap space for a guy that was hurt, only played 10 games, and you just gave him this big contract. Granted, they didn't give him the big contract. The old GM already said that. Just weird. Seems like a little jumping the gun a little bit on that. Additionally, we have a little NBA update. And by the way, this will be a short episode. I know what you're thinking. If you've even made it this far, you're like, I can't believe Luke is doing a solo episode. This is torture. Do I have to finish it? And so that I would say you do. You do have to finish it. But I won't. It won't be long. So I'll probably be like maybe a half hour because I'm already shocked that I've covered 2 of the main topics. Definitely the main topic, and I'm only not even 7 minutes in. So that's great. It goes a lot faster when you don't have someone to riff off of. Caleb's probably listening to this like, yeah, when you were in Florida, I did 2 full-length episodes like this. But yeah, touching on NBA, what a crazy start to round 2. So we've had no home teams win yet. Granted, only one series is 2 games in, and by the time you guys are hearing this, if you're listening to it the day it came out, we have 2 more games tonight. But to start off round 2, for the first time in NBA history, every road team won game 1 in round 2. That is shocking. And even as far, like Golden State beat Minnesota, I don't want to say handedly, but like it's not like it came down to the last minute and Minnesota just missed a shot. Like Minnesota was fighting to get in that game the whole time. Golden State had them the whole time. And Curry got hurt pretty early. He got hurt in the first half, didn't return, and he's out. It's going to be a problem because he's out until the report's saying at least game 6, if not game 7, if either is necessary. And that's a scary thought if you're Golden State because although they looked great last night, it's hard to imagine that the Thunder are going to play as poorly as they did. Or sorry, the Thunder. Look at me. So low and I start losing my mind. The Timberwolves, I can't imagine, are going to play as poorly as they did in the sense that they shot so bad from beyond the arc. And Golden State shot well. Draymond Green had, I think, 4 threes in the first quarter, at least the first half. Buddy Hield started draining them. He started off slow, but he got hot in the third quarter. I think he had 16, 17 in the third quarter. Just the other guys really picking it up and carrying the weight with Steph out. But I don't know that they can do that for the rest of the series. It certainly helps to have a 1-0 start. You got that little cushion. Because now at this point, you've stolen home court. Even without Steph, if you just manage to win your home games, you survive until he's back. So I guess that's what you kind of lean on and hope that he comes back because he's still just incredible at his age. I think if LeBron James didn't exist, the talk around Steph Curry would just be almost annoying because the praise would be so high. But now, because LeBron does exist and he's still productive at his age, Steph almost weirdly flies under the radar. But now with LeBron out of the playoffs, this is going to be a time for Steph to get that appreciation, and then he gets hurt, which sucks. But yeah, it was a shocking result, honestly. If you told me Steph was going to get hurt, I would have bet all the money in the world that the Timberwolves are going to win. Additionally, like I said, all the other road teams also won. So we saw Denver win the weirdest ending. I talked about this on the episode we recorded with Tim for sports, but obviously, like I said, that episode didn't work out. But I was watching that game, and the Thunder keep doing this foul up three, which I'm all for. Like, it's the smart, it's the analytical play. It is a little annoying to watch, but from a coaching standpoint, I get it. The problem with the Thunder is they're fouling up three, like, on the other side of the court, way away from the basket. So the Nuggets aren't draining any time as they're doing this. And the game's not progressing. It's just foul. And eventually, I'm watching it, and I was like, man, I told my brother, I was watching with him, I said, I don't see how the Nuggets make it out of this game with a win unless the Thunder start missing some free throws, which wasn't really a hot take. That's just mathematically duh. That's the whole point of the Nuggets fouling back, is so that you hopefully miss free throws. But as soon as I said that, Chet Holmgren misses not one, but 2 free throws, and the Nuggets race down to the other end of the court, drain a 3-point shot. Aaron Gordon sinks it. He's been so clutch for them this postseason. And they take the 1-0 lead in OKC. Didn't see that coming. I wouldn't have ruled it out. In fact, I responded to a tweet. There was a Bills fan. I don't remember his name. Sorry. But he tweeted something about, like, oh, I don't really watch a lot of basketball, but how in the world are the Nuggets plus 10.5? And I commented, and I was like, well, I think a lot of people overlook the fact that the Thunder won 68 games. This is one of the best regular season results we've ever seen. And the Nuggets have an inexperienced head coach who's only going into his 11th game. But I did say, even in that, you can make the case because, 1, the Thunder are young, and 2, the Nuggets have Jokic. They have probably the best player in the world. I mean, he's just incredible. He had a 40-20 in this game. It's just absurd. And he was coaching the team. There's a clip of him just, like, yelling at his teammates and stuff on the bench. But it didn't seem, I mean, maybe it was in a angry, poor teammate way. I didn't get that vibe. It seemed like a coaching, like hard coaching way. So he's pretty much doing the job of head coach and best player in the world simultaneously. So that's impressive as they get the win. We also saw the Pacers not only steal game 1, but steal game 2. So they're 2-0 in Cleveland on the road already. And game 2 was crazy. If you listen to all of YAP yesterday, or whenever you're listening to this, Wednesday, the Pacers were down, and Tyrese Halliburton's at the free throw line. He has 1 free throw left, and they're down by 2. And he misses the free throw. I don't believe it was intentional. It didn't look like an intentional miss. Because I think they were going to play the foul game after that, right? Just take your points. Misses the free throw, gets his own rebound, takes it out, clears it, takes it out beyond the arc. And didn't really seem like he was kind of struggling to create space to hit that big shot. And then out of nowhere, he just steps back. And now you've got a little space if you're willing to hit a step back. Hits the step back 3, takes the lead, and the Pacers steal game 2. Now, the Cavs, on the other hand, did not have 3 of their 4 best players. They did have their best player, but it was not enough because Donovan Mitchell was incredible in this game. 48 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists on 50% from the field. So this dude was absolutely balling. He did only shoot 1 of 7 from 3, which is shocking. Told me Donovan Mitchell had 48. I'd be like, yeah, he had 5 or 6 threes, 1 of 7. But it's just tough. I mean, anytime you're getting 22 from Jarrett Allen, 23 from Max Strus, who was 5 of 12 from 3, and even 14 from Sam Merrill. But you have Ty Jerome taking 14 shots. Sam Merrill, who played well, took 10 shots. Max Strus, again, played well but took 18 shots. Like, these aren't the guys you really want to have to lean on. And some of them showed up for what it's worth, but it just ultimately is not enough. You have to have – they were missing Mobley. They were missing Garland. They obviously, like I said, Mitchell played. They were missing DeAndre Hunter. That's just – those guys I'm not going to sit here and criticize them, say that they should have played and tough it out. But, man, they must be really hurt because you're down 0-1 as it is. And all three of you aren't playing in game two, putting up that huge risk of falling down 0-2. And now you are. So they've got quite a hill to climb to come back. I think I heard a stat. It was like 92% or something of teams that go up 2-0 win the series. But I would like to know how many of those teams that lost, that couldn't come back, excuse me, how many of those teams had that many injuries and then got those guys back, because that obviously could be a little different. I also just realized that I didn't play the intro, so you guys will hear it. I'll go in and find a spot to add it, but that's fun. That's why, this is what happens when Caleb's not here. He usually reminds me when I forget, and instead I just get rolling, and now no intro, so that's fun. But yeah, Cavs Pacers. I feel like the Cavs, I have to imagine they're going to make this a series. But at the same time, if you're the Pacers, you're playing the Cavs, the 1 seed, who is so good. Everyone's expected Cavs and Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. They've been saying it all season, no question. Now you're going back to Indiana, and I feel like you got to smell blood in the water, because if you can go up 3-0 and you still have, at that point, they would still have, 2 home games in their back pocket. I mean, if you're not smelling blood in the water there, I don't know what would. So they're definitely going to be going all out in game 3. Not that they wouldn't anyway, but you get what I'm saying. Going up 3-0 is practically putting the series away. It seems like Tyrese Halliburton has been very motivated by being ranked the most overrated player by NBA players, which I don't blame him for getting any motivation from it. I would be motivated by it as well. But if someone ranked me and Caleb the most overrated podcasters, actually, that wouldn't motivate me. That would be like the biggest compliment ever. Because that means someone out there is rating us at all, and rating us in a good light. So I would we'll say right now, if anyone wants to rank Yelling at Pigeons as the number 1 most overrated podcast, we'll hang a banner. We would love that. But in Tyrese's case, I get it. Those little polls are always funny to me, though, because they surveyed, I think, like 94 players or something, and 14 of them said Tyrese was the most overrated player, which means the overwhelming majority of people thought someone else was the most overrated player. So it's kind of funny if you look at it. They did the same with in the NFL with Josh Allen last year, and I'm sure he was motivated by it, so I'll take it. Get one of your best players, or in our case, our best player. He's the MVP now. Getting motivated by something like that, sure. We'll take the motivation. What does Nick Saban call it? Rat poison or whatever. So I'm not complaining, but those surveys they're just so funny to me, because it's such a small sample size. It doesn't really mean anything. We also have the Knicks taking game 1 in Boston. This is a great win for the Knicks. I'm not going to take anything from them. I will say, if you're a Boston fan, I wouldn't really sweat it. The Celtics missed, I believe, NBA record 45 3-pointers in this game. 45. It's crazy to think where we've gotten to in the NBA, where a team missed 45 threes in a game. I would like to know. I'm going to see if I can look this up. I want to know 10, although I'm getting old. 10 years ago might not be a good enough sample size. But, what was the average amount of threes even attempted by an NBA team in, let's say, 2010, 15 years ago? It's a long time now. But I'd like to know, what was the average threes attempted in the NBA in 2010? Let's see if anyone has this stat out here. I don't know how accessible this is. In the 2009-2010 NBA season, teams attempted an average of 18.1 3-point shots per game. That is crazy. The Celtics missed 45. Missed. Not even attempted. They missed 45 threes. They might have had a player that shot at least half of that amount of threes. I want to check. It's just crazy. And I'm the three ball. I get it, right? You score more points. That's what I was looking for. You score more points by shooting, 30% from three than you do shooting 40% from two. Like, if you can get the high volume, it's going to result in points. So I totally get it. But yeah. So Jason Tatum in the New York and Boston game was 4 of 15 from three, and Derek White was even more. He was 5 of 16 from three. So Derek White, not even the Celtics' best player. He's a great player. That's not what I'm saying, but he's not the face of the franchise exactly. Derek White shot 16 threes in the 2010 season. The average threes per game by an NBA team was 18.1. That is crazy that we've gotten to that point. Is that I don't know if that blows anyone else's mind, but I just find that's just so crazy how the game has evolved. And you know what? I just looked it up. What's even crazier is the number went down, because when I said originally, I said, 10 years ago. I'm like, 10 years ago, we're probably shooting threes already, because I'm thinking of like the early Golden State teams. In the 2014-15 season, the league average for three-pointers attempted per game is 13.9. That's wild. Now, there were some teams that were ahead of it. So this is, granted, AI overview from Google, so it could be very wrong. But according to StatMuse, the Celtics that year shot 24.6 threes per game. So they were ahead of the curve. They saw it coming. And ironically enough, they're the ones here who just missed 45 threes in a single game. So that's actually a good example. Even the Celtics, just 10 years ago, they were shooting a high volume of threes compared to other teams, at least some other teams, and yet they still shot about a little more than half of the amount of threes per game 10 years ago as the amount of threes that they missed in game one of the Eastern Conference semis this year, just 10 years later. So just pretty wild to think about. Just the growth of the game, right? The game's always changing, and it's kind of cool to see how teams adapt to it, because there'll be another trend. I don't think threes are probably going anywhere, but there's always some new slant that some new whiz kid coach or executive comes up with, and it's cool to see how people adjust. So the game is always different. I think a lot of people maybe don't like it because there's more threes, but it's not a worse product. It's just a different product. And in fact, this second round, first slate of games, has been a great example of it being a great product still, because we've had just unreal games. I mean, we had the Aaron Gordon game winner. We had, granted it was game 2, but we had the Halliburton game winner. We had the Knicks storming back and winning a close one against Boston in overtime, which I had a parlay that was so close to hitting. Actually had a parlay so close to hitting that and the Pacers game. I won't bore you guys with it, but I could be in a much better mood right now. And I'm not in a bad mood, but I could be in a great mood if those went my way. But yeah, with that being said, I'll talk a little about last night's games. Obviously, people don't know what's going to happen at the time I'm recording this. I do, because I know ball. What will happen is the Knicks will lose, for my money, probably by double digits, because I think Boston's going to come out motivated and angry, and more importantly than their emotion, they're going to be shooting the ball well, or at least shooting it a lot better than missing 45 threes in one game. So I think Boston will clear New York tonight with really pretty easily. You'll know that by now when you're listening to this. And then Nuggets Thunder, I think the Thunder bounce back as well. So I'm kind of giving you chalk here. I'm picking the two home team favorites, higher ranked seeds. to bounce back after being down 0-1. But do you want me to be right or do you want me to be bold? You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be right. For what it's worth, I'll do you a little better. I'll give you the spread. Boston will cover the minus 10.5. The Thunder won't, because the Nuggets really showed that they can play with the Thunder. They won't cover 10.5. Ironically, both of these games are 10.5. Yeah, those were last night's games, and I just told you what happened in them. So you don't even need to check the stat book because I was definitely right. You always am when I've ever been wrong. Before we go, I told you guys it's only be like a half hour. We're getting pretty close. JJ Redick, in his end of season presser, was quoted saying, "Some players need to get in championship shape," and a lot of people, your brain is automatically going to go to Luka, right? I don't think it's just Luka. I think he could be talking about all of Laker Nation, right? Maybe I need to get in championship shape. So this might be my new Vanessa Carlton challenge. My new thing where it's a new challenge that I fail after like a couple days, and then I don't realize that I like still believe that I'm going to finish it for like another month after that, and then I'm like, yeah, probably not going to happen. Shout out to the Vanessa Carlton challenge and anyone that attempted it with us or still attempting it with us, even though we have not really progressed on it. But yeah, maybe I need to get in championship shape. How can I expect the Lakers to be in championship shape if I am not in championship shape? So by the Lakers' first regular season game, I will be in championship shape. I don't know what that means. Maybe it ends up being more of a mental thing. Maybe I'm mentally in championship shape. One way or another, I'll be in championship shape when the Lakers play their next regular season game, and I'll ask Caleb about this as well. But again, it will be something I will fail at, just like the Vanessa Carlton challenge. So, but we're gonna get in championship shape. JJ needs us in championship shape if we want to win. That's the standard in LA. That's what we're gonna bring to the table. Speaking of LA, Giannis has said, well, I don't know if he said, but the report has been put out there into the world that he would like to play for either New York, LA, or Miami. And I will say the Lakers are probably playing a little from behind here because we don't have like a bunch of draft picks and young talent to move to get him. But at the same time, the Lakers are known to go after stars, so I do think we'll at least explore it. If he's interested, we'll see what it would take. And I don't really think New York or Miami has a bunch of picks either. Maybe Miami because they probably got some in the Jimmy. They didn't get that much for Jimmy, but anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting. I still feel like maybe a team like the Spurs could swoop in. Actually, when we were talking with Tim on what didn't work because of the technical difficulties, he was mentioning that maybe the Spurs could, because they have so many draft picks and they have young talent that is expandable on top of the young talent, or expendable, I don't know what I said, but people they could get rid of on top of the young talent that they already have. They can get rid of a Vassell or Keldon Johnson and a bunch of draft picks to get a guy like Giannis. We were talking about when Toronto made the move for Kawhi, understanding that it could be a 1-year rental. Maybe this is something the Spurs do. This could be a short-term rental with Giannis. Let's go get him anyway because we think we can win with him. And it worked out for the Raptors, and maybe this works out for the Spurs as well. He wants to go to LA, New York, Miami, and they say, sorry, it's going to be San Antonio. I don't know if he has a no trade clause or not. But I think it would work out great. I mean, as a Lakers fan, I should be rooting for him to I should see those three destinations and say, cool, Lakers, or he stays in the East, unless he somehow ends up on the Clippers, which would suck. But as a basketball fan, I think it would be fun to see him play with Wemby. That would be pretty cool. Nonetheless, though, that first Luka to Giannis lob is going to hit like crack. That's going to be awesome. So, yeah, I guess I'll run through a quick grid here, and then we'll hit the. Actually, I won't make you guys stay for the grid. It's been almost half hour. I told you it'd be a short one. So yeah, that was that. If you stuck around for the whole thing, thank you. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. Sorry for the short episode this week and no Caleb. But we had, we put something out. We're here to continue putting something out, even in weird circumstances. It's a good learning opportunity. So we did that. And thanks for listening. We will talk to you guys next week. We should have Caleb back. I don't see why not. So we'll see you then.